Heyo guys, what's going on? I'm just filling in for Ozzy or Lily. I'm gonna get in here. So we got Akira Armband, who's a lovely runner here. And we've got Julgane, also another excellent runner. I do believe their PBs are only I think they're not even 2 minutes apart, so it should be a very interesting race. Both runners pretty much killing Madame Brutal at the same time there, so close race so far. Which is what we always like to see, right? It's always nice when it's close. So both players having an excellent Cascade Kingdom there from what I saw. So hopefully they can keep it up. We'll see how what movement options they use to get up to this last moon. One of the nice things about Mario Odyssey is there's There's about 5 ways to do everything, and most of the time they're just within seconds of each other. So. Hey, what's going on, Ozzy?
Hello. Yeah, sorry. I just got home, so I'm gonna be joining you in this commentary.
Awesome. What's up?
Nothing much. I've been watching Julgane a lot, and wow, I'm expecting a great race between these two.
Right on, right on. That's always good to see. Yeah, both racers here neck and neck. Gonna be finishing up their Cascade Kingdom. We don't need a whole lot of moons. It's a nice short kingdom. One of the kingdoms where we do kill the boss and grab a multi-moon. Just because it's quick, we grab the last moons that we need and head back on to the Odyssey. And our next kingdom is going to be Sand here. If anyone's familiar with Sand, they know that there's about 10 different ways to do this kingdom, and all of them super close in time, whether or not you do a Sphinx clip to get in there. If you just talk to the guy, you know, have a quick chat with him, you could skip the Sphinx and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, Sand is definitely one of the most diverse kingdoms in this game in terms of routing. So many different things that save minimal amounts of time, but later on, when world records start getting very, very optimized, it's going to be very crucial that you do all the strats that even saving a little bit of time over the course of the run can can allow you to get a record later on in the optimization of this game.
Yeah, there's tons of options here, so we're going to see Julgane take the umbrella to get up on top to the moon that he needs, and Akra, we're going to see him just go right on top of that fountain. So even the smallest things here in Sand Kingdom, we just see tons of different route variations. So. And I was just informed that their PBs are actually within under a minute of each other, being within 55 seconds or 56 seconds. So this should be an extremely close race, and we're already seeing both players practically exit that pipe at the same time. So we're going to roll over here and get this Dune Moon. Now, I don't know about you, but this Dune Moon can definitely troll you sometimes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Both of the players getting on the very first ground pound, so excellent. I swear that moon has legs and it moves underneath the sand like something. It does have eyes, so it may be living. I don't know. Ooh, and Akra going to get a good recovery there. Almost falling off that ice pillar. Gonna give Jewel just a little bit of time that he needs to take us, kind of close the small gap that both players have here. Both of them doing a triple jump at the same time. It's always nice to see both players pretty much neck and neck. So we'll see how they handle this next ice pillar.
And I believe you might be a little bit behind, so you should refresh your stream. But on my stream, they both just got the crate moon, and it is within a fraction of a second from each other.
I was actually looking at the wrong stream there, so thank you very much. Alright.
Wow, one bonk here could cost the lead. This is very close.
Yeah, it'll be it also makes it easy on us so we can talk about the same strategies at the same time. But so far, I do believe both players know a slight difference in route. It looked like Akra opted to not get the bird early. So we won't see a variation in strategy up until probably after this moon, where we may see a route difference in these two players. And it looks like we're going to be going for Sphinx Clip from Akra, and Julgane opting out. Was that a first try?
Yes.
Excellent
wow.
From Akra. Definitely hats off to him. That is not the easiest trick in the world. In fact, one of the harder tricks, and he's going to get it first try. So definitely a round of applause for that. And we're going to see Jewel opt out of the Sphinx. So coins will be a concern of his in the rest of this route. The Sphinx room giving us pretty much all the coins we need here in any percent. Akra getting caught in that chest. It looked like he fell down, meant to do a dive, but the chest was in his way there, so.
So you'll notice in Sand Kingdom, both of the runners are going to be using the bullet bills to get around and do various tasks. Very, very optimized. But you can, if you're a little bit later, a little bit early, you can be off the cycle of the bullet bill and have to wait, which can cost a decent amount of time, especially for this level of play.
And I do believe Akra is going to need the bird, so any... Ooh, Commentator's curse, I shouldn't have brought it up. But any mistake you make after you exit that Sphinx door is kind of amplified because the bird cycle is something you have to be concerned about. It resets as soon as you leave the Sphinx room, so mistakes after Sphinx room definitely get multiplied. It's because now the bird is on a cycle you don't know. Akra having to go back and grab another bullet bill, but misfortune there, but we'll be alright. And Julgane getting the last moon that he needs here. So, taking the lead there, but it's far from over, so we'll see how each player handles the next kingdom here. And Akra is probably going to have to do... My bad there, guys. Akra is probably going to have to do a backup note moon, probably planning to get bird, but not being on a good cycle here anymore.
And as close as this race is, it's good to note that you can lose so much time in any specific thing with minor mistakes, especially the boss fights later on. So this is far from anywhere near being able to call from here.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't. I would count neither of these players. I don't call a race over until moon skip, and even then,
even after moon skip,
yeah, you don't call it over till 2D shortcut.
I've seen races come down to hitting a fireball on one of the final pillars. I mean,
yeah, actually, we had a race yesterday that came down to that. Both players were breaking the last pillar, and the escape sequence on the last fireball. It came down to 2 seconds, so an exciting race. But we've got an exciting race here, so we'll see what Akra can do to kind of get some lead back, or gain some time back, I should say.
So Julgane and Lake Kingdom, it's pretty much the fastest kingdom in this run. You don't need very many moons, and you're going to be grabbing a multi-moon, which is very fast and in the route. Very optimized. I don't see it getting much faster than this.
Yeah, not a whole, unless somebody comes up with some really out of the box ideas. We probably won't see too much of a difference in Lake, just like you said. Very short kingdom. We don't even need a whole lot of moons here. Only needing 8, and 3 of them come from the boss. So. And here you're gonna see us grab our very first cheap. They just swim fast, so we take them.
Give me a moment. I'm gonna grab my Joy-Con so I don't mess up explaining controls.
Not a problem. Take your time. So, ooh, another unfortunate block there from Rocker. Not quite getting the height that he needed there. Surprisingly, one of the tighter jumps here in Lake to make it where you, the most optimal movement there is to make it so that you don't have to kick off the wall. You just do it in one fluid motion there, but just not quite getting the height he needed. And Julgane gonna be doing his first cheap jump there, first and only cheap jump actually. So. Missing that can definitely lose you a lot of time. So it's one of the places we see a lot of players drop in input, whether it be the game, whether it be just nerves, whatever it is. But often you can fall back in the water there, so you lose a bunch of time.
Really nice Rango from Julgane. It's notable. It's worth noting that you can lose a lot of time on that by missing one of your backflips because he'll go and do a cycle again, which after he does a cycle, it's even harder to get back into the routine of things. That could cause additional time loss. Oh,
yeah. You'll see on pretty much every boss except for one, there's a way to speed it up. And missing, it's just well-timed jumps, all of these bosses. Is what it comes down to. And mistiming one of those jumps does cost you a lot of time because it will go into a phase that you were hoping to skip. So see how Akra handles it here. He's going to go for the backflips, which is personally what I do. I feel it's very safe, very fast. Excellent Rango from Akra there too.
Yeah, both players having really good late kingdoms.
Yeah, very few mistakes from both the players here. Jewel keeping that lead that he got out of Sand Kingdom, but Wooded Kingdom is another very hard kingdom. And one of in my opinion, my favorite kingdom, but a lot of technical tricks that we get to see and explain. So we'll try to catch those when we can. Wooded Kingdom. Now, opinion here. What's your favorite music from every kingdom, Ozzy?
Wooded Kingdom, duh.
Yeah, I'm hashtag Wooded as well. So Jewel coming up here on the very first bunny that we, actually the only bunny we get here in any percent, so they can definitely troll you there, whether it be you get to it a little bit later than you expected and it turns on you. Definitely can be one of those things that make you look like a... Bunny just likes to make you look like a fool, right? So, very clean bunny there from Jewel. And there we're going to see him buy one of the moons that we talked about. You only need to buy 2 moons in this route, so just making sure that you get to Wooded Kingdom with 100 coins, and then once you get to Snow, you have 100 coins. So. Julgane getting a very nice waterfall jump there. Very clean movement up to this very first nut. Oh, and it looks like he maybe meant to do a ground pound there and threw his hat on accident. I'm not sure. But oh, he's actually going for the wall kick strat. So very nice there from Jewel.
Yeah, that's one of the... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Right ahead.
Yeah, that's one of the very... one of many places in this game where there are so many ways to get to this one spot in a span of a second and a half, really.
Oh, definitely. All of these options, whether it be a ground pound, backflip, triple jump, hat dive, there's so many ways. And obviously, you know, some are... and let's get back to that. Just like we're going to see actually Jewel, some players will opt out of that long jump there and go straight to the pipeway. He's going to grab this moon here in the red maze, and then he's going to get a checkpoint, and looks like he's having some trouble there. That little extension you have to do with the uproot is motion control, so it can definitely fight you sometimes. He's gonna run over here and grab this checkpoint and then go to the pipeway. We'll see if Akra heads the other way.
Also, does anyone in chat, or maybe you know, if either of them run on Joy-Cons?
We can actually see down there at the bottom, it looks like Akra is on Pro Controller, where it tells you once you have something captured, the icon.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Different. I just thought of that. I was literally just thinking that too, so I was like, oh yeah, you can check there. So.
Because I personally run on Joy-Cons, and people yell at me for it. It makes me sad.
You know what? It's one of those things where I think it's really personal preference, whether you like the, for me, the kind of ergonomics that a Pro Controller provides over the Joy-Cons, but the Joy-Cons definitely make those motion controlling inputs a little bit more friendly. And this is, I do believe Akra went pipeway first, so and getting a nice damage boost there to get up to the moon quicker. That damage there was more than likely intentional, so that he could skip a phase on the fuzzies there. He will lose 2 seconds for taking that damage and then having to watch his health refill, but overall I do feel it's faster than waiting on the water cycle. So he's going to make the climb up here as to where we saw the, oh no, and just death. He scared me a little bit there, because missing that jump there, that's falling into Dark Wooded, which is massive time loss. I'm not even sure how much it is. Let's hope both players don't get to see that. So.
Oh yeah, Deep Woods, very awful. Do not recommend ever going there. Obviously, it's not a choice, but not good. We had a race, the only other Odyssey race I've commentated. We had both players fall into Deep Woods.
Really? Well then, I guess if both players did it, there was a kind of nice to see how both players would handle it. And looks, I'm not sure. I think Julgane did take the P-switch there, so, but it looked like he did the second half of P-switchless. I may have to. He did hit the switch, so we'll see if Akra opts out of that switch.
That was really close from Julgane, but I'm sure he meant to do that. I just haven't seen that routing before, where he rolled off the edge and then went for the cap throw.
Yeah, those small movement optimizations where rolling through the air there is a little bit faster than a long jump, because a long jump kind of sets your speed, right? You're slower than a roll. So definitely a little bit scary looking, but you can still get the distance that you need. And Akra is going to take the P-switch there. Both of them have very good movement after that P-switch, ignoring the cycle that you may have to wait on there. And then we're going to see Jewel come up here on the first Spirit fight. It's another very simple fight. Just similar to Ringo, where we just want to jump on his hat as soon as the game allows us to. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and take note of him grabbing coins, as I believe he did not do Sphinx, and he's going to need those coins later for Snow Kingdom.
Oh yes, definitely. He's gonna. Oh, and black like what? Jewel. I didn't notice it right there at the end there, but mistiming that jump, we get to see a little bit of the phase that Spear can go into with mistiming the jump there. So very trivial fights, but again, mistiming does cost you a lot of time. So giving Akra just a little bit of edge back into this match here. Definitely neck and neck, to be honest with you. Both of them practically fighting the boss here at the same time.
Yeah, at this point, even a routing difference could lower the gap between these two runners.
Oh, definitely. We're only 21 minutes into probably what will be slightly over an hour, so we've got, well, a lot more speedrunning to do, so anything can happen. And it looks like Julgane split turning red just at the end there, so we'll see. He may be on a really good pace here.
So I thought what Nintendo did with this game was really evil, because they advertised this game a lot in Metro Kingdom. And at this point in the game that Julgane's out, you're like, oh, yay, finally Metro Kingdom. But nope, they're Cloud Battle and then Lost in between. So you have to wait a little bit longer.
Biggest anime betrayal of the season, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We're going to see Julgane coming up here on the very first Bowser fight. A lot of recent optimizations here. Looks like we're going to see him go for... We're going to see him go for a pretty standard Bowser fight. Some people opt into getting really close to him and catching that hat as soon as it's available. But Julgane going to take a little bit safe, where those other strats are definitely a lot harder, a lot more room for risk and error. So we're going to see him hit the hat. And he's actually going to go for the dive here, seeing that the hat was close enough for him. He didn't need to get it with his hat. So good eye there from Jewel.
Yeah, and it's also worth mentioning that if you grab the hat too close to him, he'll pick it up again. And if you don't punch him in time after grabbing the hat, he'll go through his other cycle and then jump 2 more times and spew lava rings from... It's going to lose some time.
Oh, definitely. What feels... Oh, and Akra getting the very quick capture. Excellent work from him there. Definitely showing off those new strategies. We'll see if he goes for the damage boost here, so we're going to see that. And it looks like he is going to do an even better strat.
Wow, yeah.
About skipping the damage and backflipping into the hat and hitting it as soon as it was available.
That was really good. Okay, now on my personal favorite kingdom, Lost Kingdom. Very crisp movement, all pretty linear. It's worth noting that he's going to be doing a strategy called Klepto Skip, where he's not going to actually step foot on Klepto's little outlook area so he doesn't take his hat. But he will end up, quote-unquote, activating Klepto while going near him later on in this kingdom.
Yeah, a very big time loss if you do activate Klepto unintentionally. By kind of going around the cutscene trigger, we can kind of skip the whole cutscene and skip him stealing our hat. So, making Lost Kingdom a lot more enjoyable in my opinion. So, Julgane opting into a triple jump off the tree here. We're going to see how Akra handles it, and it looks like he is going to go into the dive strategy. So just slight differences in routing here, or in movement options. Really nice to see that from both players, kind of putting their own style on the game. So right there, we're going to see Jewel trigger that bird. Taking a kind of an unfortunate bonk there, getting a little bit too close. But no big deal. Sadly, bonks do cost a significant amount of time in this game, and they add up very quickly. So, not good. Not fun, not good. Physically painful when you bonk in this game, it feels like sometimes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially when it looks like you shouldn't have bonked and you bonk anyways. There's a lot of places in this game where that will happen.
Akra showing off a little bit of swag there, throwing his hat and doing a bounce off of it instead of another option. Just with Cappy in this game, there's so many ways to get the height and the distance that you need. It's nice to see what options each players take there. And we're gonna see if Julgane can get the Deathless here, and it looks like he just didn't quite get that cap dive that he wanted. And unfortunately for him, he needs those coins. So we'll see how he kind of handles that situation later on. More than likely opting it into Seaside first. So.
Yeah, definitely something that's almost required without getting Sphinx, because coins are so tight from there to here without losing much time. So you do see a lot of runners going for Seaside first, but I'm pretty sure Seaside first is a little bit slower, but not significantly.
The only difference being that you do have to menu, and Akra taking an unfortunate death there. Looks like he had to take a backup and go to the tree, so maybe not something that he's used to doing there. Looks like just missing the dive that he wanted. So we're going to see how he handles this. He is going to have to re-trigger Klepto, so hopefully he knows that you can't. Ooh, and another death there from him. It's one of those things where this isn't something you would typically practice, so it's kind of hard to know what to do in these scenarios.
Yeah, he has to be careful not to trigger Klepto again, as that will cost him a massive amount of time.
Yeah, he needs to grab this moon without touching the ground. So if he touches the tree right there, he will take a cutscene trigger. So he's just going to take the death knowing that it's better than having to trigger that cutscene. You will have to go and grab this last moon though. So some unfortunate deaths there from Akra, but still not out of this yet. Julgane on his Dark Metro here. And we're going to get to see, and Akra gets it. Some very quick reaction there to make sure that he gets the angle that he needs. And some nice movement from Julgane there, using kind of everything he had there. Even doing a roll cancel into the doorway. So roll cancels being one of those new techs that we see a lot of players opting to use now, where you can typically you can't get out of a roll instantly, right? So when you're rolling, you got to wait a few frames before you can stop the roll animation and throw your hat or stop a bonk. But if you push both the jump and Julgane kind of falling down in Dark Metro there, saving it their last second, getting back on that platform. But if you push both the jump button and the hat button in quick succession, you can get out of a roll instantly. So
yeah, unfortunate mistakes in the pull ring for Julgane, but nothing too detrimental. Still has a pretty significant lead, but again, all of this that lead can dissipate very, very quickly. Either Okra can have really, really perfect, consistent strats, or Julgane can make some really minor error that ends up costing a lot of time.
Yeah, even right here in this Wiggler fight, Julgane missing a cycle here could definitely give Akra a chance to catch back up, because Akra is not very far behind, just about to make his climb into City Hall here. So we'll see how Julgane handles this. Kind of stressful fight, to be honest with you, for a lot of players. Missing a cycle here costs you a significant amount of time, and the second cycle that you do have to deal with is random. So it's all just reaction time, really, and good aiming.
Yeah, absolutely. Not two cycling Mecha Wiggler can be very detrimental, loses a lot of time.
Akra getting the first cycle on this platform here, so very quick movement for him to get to it on the very first cycle. Not an easy feat by any means. And Julgane is going to need to back up here. It looks like, never mind, it takes a favorable pattern here, so he's going to clean that and get a very nice 2-cycle. For a second there, I was hoping that those balls would not stop at the very top, because he was kind of close there. You cannot shoot very high if you are close to the wall, so very quick shots there from Julgane, getting a very nice Wiggler fight.
Yeah, you see Okra opt out of going the full distance on the electric wire. Just another one of those really, really small optimizations that are trivial now, but especially when this game gets a lot more optimized, it was very important to be getting a decent time.
Oh, definitely, definitely. We're going to see Julgane entering light Metro here, or day Metro, whatever you prefer. We'll see if he goes for a quick, neat trick here. And he is going to do it. You're going to see him throw his hat, grab this moon, and then do a homing attack onto the pillar there. Saving a little bit of time, just one of those optimizations that we're talking about. That you could just walk over there, throw your hat, but why do that if you can do that homing attack? So
that's good for RC car, as opposed to the moped trick. Having a little bit of issues and very, I mean, if you haven't used the RC car, then you're not going to understand, but very awful controls, so I can understand why he's been was missing that for a few minutes, or not a few minutes, a few seconds, sorry.
Akra getting kind of a bad pattern there on his Wiggler, kind of just eating the last shot that he expected to hit there, so he is going to have to go through another cycle here, but he, kind of one of the unfortunate things that we see happen when the Wiggler can just seem to eat your shots on when there's only one orb left there that you need to kill. So yeah, I'm sure he's not happy with that, jumping in and out of the tank to show his displeasure. So, but definitely far from over here.
Yeah, absolutely. Light Metro, the stage is one of the few stages where you're going to use teleports to move your way around the stage. After this point, Light Metro is very, very linear. You'll see a lot of moons in rapid succession that are really close to each other.
Yeah, kind of a route that we adopted very early, and we just haven't really found anything faster than it. So it's, and I enjoy it. I enjoy Light Metro routing. So there we see Awkward going for that trick again. Julgane's going to be making the climb here. And it looks like he's going to just shake his way up there. I do not blame him. It can be very scary. One of the optimizations. Ooh, and we're going to see Akra go for RC skip and getting it first try. Almost no setup. So that was a round of applause to him. That is not an easy feat by any means. So definitely showing off some swag there. Gonna definitely gain some time back. Close that gap here.
Yeah, very, very clean.
So Julgane coming into looks like he's throwing his hat a little bit there, meaning to one of the things that is very there's two common mistakes that I see a lot of runners do, including myself. Whether it be one being where you do a ground pound input when you meant to do a dive, so that's something we see very common, and then another being Julgane taking an unfortunate bonk there, the camera kind of just not working for him, and second being a lot of the time to do a homing attack, well, the only way to do a homing attack is to throw your hat and shake the controller. So if it doesn't quite work out the way you wanted it, you're still shaking your controller. So as soon as Kathy comes back to you, you accidentally throw him out again. Can lose you some time there, but nothing too big.
Yeah, very well put. There are a lot of things in this game where new players trying to learn routing will not be able to get because movement. It's just these slight optimizations, like even learning Cappy balance for the first time can take hour and a half because
definitely
you just have to get used to it. It's a very interesting game, but once you get used to it and can perform these things consistently, it's very, very, very fun. I recommend picking it up if you haven't.
Oh yeah, definitely a million ways to do everything. Saying kind of picking the flavor that you want to. And we're going to see Akra go for an early ground pound there and just missing the snipe, having to move just a little bit. It's always nice to see what kind of courage a player has to go for that ground pound because the camera angle makes it kind of hard to tell where you need to ground pound. So until you see your shadow, you don't really know where you're at in the space of things. So I always like to see when players will go for the ground pound and when they won't. Julgane gonna finish up Metro here and just teleport right back to his Odyssey, and I cannot believe it, but I do believe we missed an OTEP. Shame on us. So our apologies, guys.
Oh no, we missed the OTEP. I just now noticed that. Oh, that's... It's okay, I'll get the yell.
Yeah, we'll get to see Akra's OTEP here. Julgane's OTEP will definitely be in our hearts. And Julgane maybe back in... It looked like maybe he backed out of his menu there to see how many coins he had. I'm not sure. Maybe I just looked over at the wrong time there, but I thought he should have been back and on his way by now. Alrighty, we just having a moment of silence there for the OTEP, making sure we don't speak over Base Fest. I know everybody bought their tickets to Base Fest, and we don't want to waste those. So Julgane gonna be going to Snow. He is a little short on coins, so we're gonna have to see how he handles this. That may give Akra the chance that he needs to close this gap. I don't know if that was planned from Joel or what, maybe just a menuing accident. One of the errors that can happen if you do not go to Sphinx, and you do need to plan to go to Seaside first. So it looks like he's getting some quick coins there. Only needed 8 more, so we'll see what ones he goes for.
Yeah, he should be fine just losing minimal amounts of time for this mistake.
Just needing 3 more. We'll see maybe if he jumps off of a hot dog hut here or what option he takes. So, hot dog hut, my bad, cart. That's our cart, everyone. There he goes, getting the last coins that he needs, realizing that those coins are there. So we're going to see Akra. I always like to see how players handle the movement outside getting to this toad, and doing an option there that I truly have not seen yet, whether it be people triple jump off the ice pillars, do a double long jump. Just a million ways to move around outside in Mario Odyssey. So.
Nice move from Julgane. That trick can be especially hard for new players or people trying to get into any percent running or really any category that uses that because it's very close and you can accidentally have your hat hit the wall when trying to cappy bounce.
Yeah, definitely a tight window, tight movement there. So shout outs to double You Got a Moon on our screens there. We're going to see Julgane going into the Blowy Joey room here, as I think we've decided that is the best name for them. If anybody has any other options, let us know. And going to get a nice triple jump with the momentum from the wind there. So showing off some fancy movement. So which kingdom would you say you prefer, Snow or Seaside here? Ooh, and Akra just getting a strange kick off of that bridge that we see sometimes where and it's going to happen to him again where it sends him down instead of away. Looks like he's going to get it that time.
To answer your question, I prefer going for Seaside first. Not that I'm good at this game, nor should my opinion be taken seriously.
Well, I mean, which one first is just... I guess the better... Not which one do you like to go first, which one do you prefer to run more, I guess is the question.
I really, really enjoy Seaside Kingdom. I love the movement, especially in that room where you normally use the Gushing to get through. I find that very, very fun to do.
Right on, right on. I think Seaside is more enjoyable for me to run, but a well-done Snow is always something that's really nice to see. So Akra gonna opt into a ground pound there. Maybe I think he lost a little bit of his momentum on the block there. So honestly, only one room apart here from both these runners, so anything could happen. Julgane gonna, nice hat throw there, realizing that he was maybe not quite lined up through his hat to stop his momentum, and he's gonna get a nice long jump over that last moon.
Yeah, at this point, they could miss birdless or not even go for birdless, and the time gap can be shortened. Time gap can be shortened. Yeah, sure. That's what I'm going to put it down.
Oh, we knew what you meant. You don't have to. But we're gonna see Julgane go into the very last room of snow here, where we're gonna see. Typically, you would come in here and you would climb your way up to the top and fight the boss, but that's slow since really we only need one more moon, and so conveniently there is a moon right here at the end that we're gonna see Jul get. Kind of a little secret you might not find if you're playing through casually, and getting a nice dive over that moon.
Yeah, I feel. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go right ahead.
I feel as if playing this game casually and then playing this game as a speedrunning perspective are two completely different experiences. So if you're thinking about just jumping into speedrunning, I fully recommend playing it casually first.
And Accra also struggling with that same jump there, so we can see that, you know, Snow, while not maybe the hardest kingdom, there's a lot of pitfalls all around, so you gotta definitely make sure you got clean jumps and clean timing. So. We're going to see Accra head on to the last room here. We're going to see Julgane head on over to Seaside. So
Seaside, you'll see a lot of different ways to move around. You'll start off with just cappy throws and things like that. You'll move on to Tinged Over Gushions, and then primarily most runners use Cheap Cheap to finish off the stage. So very, very diverse stage. Lots of different ways to do it. I believe Cheap Cheap at the end is one of the most consistent routes I've been seeing, but I could be wrong. There are a lot of different things you can do in this game, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Definitely. And Julgane's showing off some fancy movement at the beginning there, almost looking flawless getting up to that moon on the cliff. That being one of the tighter jumps that we'll see in this route. We'll see a slightly tighter variation of that same jump coming up on Luncheon, and we'll point that out. So we're going to see how he handles that room that you were talking about here, where you take the Gushin in here, and it's kind of and he just misses it. Just as I was about to mention, it's kind of a slight 2D 0.5 room in there. The camera kind of locks you to an outside view, making depth perception kind of a enemy there. So he threw his hat there to try to figure out what side he needed to go on the moon, and it looks like it was just a little bit too close to the walls towards the camera. So the small mistakes may let Accra close the gap here, so we'll see how he handles the startup here.
Nice notes from Julgane. Very deceiving moon. It's actually really difficult to run in a straight line, contrary to popular belief.
Oh, definitely. The camera does not cooperate with you there. And Accra making a climb up to that moon pretty easily as well. So very good movement from both these runners here. Now we're going to see Julgane grab that Cheap Cheap that we're talking about. We're going to use this for the rest of the level here until we warp back to the Odyssey. So not you're in no real threat of dying anywhere while you're in this Cheap Cheap. Maybe if you get some really unfortunate seaweeds, but we probably won't see any players have that issue. So we're just gonna. Oh, and Accra showing again that room cannot. The depth perception in there can definitely fight you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that line of coins that you saw Julgane get is primarily why people like to do Seaside first if they're short on coins. Because it'll allow you to not have to you won't have to worry about Snow Kingdom and getting enough coins to get the shop.
Definitely. So we're gonna see Julgane having a little bit of trouble with the seaweed there. Gonna do the spin attack that we that is available on the Cheap Cheap to clean it up. And he's gonna go down to this little cave here, grab his last moon, and very nice movement through the end of that cave there. Another spot where it's very easy to bonk on the walls, making it kind of hard to tell if you're too far forward, backwards, up, down, or whatever it may be.
Mostly clean since Seaside from Julgane. Okra also doing a really nice job in Seaside. The only two mistakes we've really seen were in the kind of 2.5D room, as you put it.
Definitely a lot of and there we talk about where the Seaside can be a little bit of a bully. Accra's gonna have to watch his health kind of tick back in a short animation that takes 2 seconds away from you. Not only does the damage kind of slow you down a little bit, but insult to injury, the game makes you watch your health be refilled. So just to remind you that 2 seconds is now gone. And we're going to see Julgane come up on one of the tightest jumps, I would say, in this route. We're going to see how he handles it. Every player kind of takes their own spin on this. He's going to go for a ground pound. And looks like he lost a little bit of height, so he's going to back out of it. And there we see that the ceiling can definitely not be your friend. There is, as we see there, he's hitting his head on just a tiny outhang there. So let's see if he can get a little bit of space. And there he goes. He's going to get it just fine. One of those things that you were talking about earlier, where just simply diving onto your hat can be one of those things that can kind of plague a runner in this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, and a tomato just showing him that you're not quite getting through here for free. Those tomatoes can definitely troll you.
And I would also like to mention how he realized he wasn't going to have enough height, so instead of going for the dive and risking the potential bunk, he just backed out, which I thought was a very, very smart decision.
Oh,
we saw we've seen a bunch of players now start doing that, especially in the last race that aired on the Speed Gaming 1 channel.
Yeah, definitely a quick reaction and noticing, from practice, like, oh, I didn't quite get the jump that I needed, and so on. So quick reaction is definitely a sign of a good runner. So we're going to see Akra handle this a little bit differently, opting into the triple jump, and he's going to get it first try there. Excellent from Akra. So that's going to definitely get some time back that he needed. Really now only a moon apart from both these runners at the moment. And Akra kind of rolling down that hill, which can be very scary, but going to pull out and early enough that not going to be an issue. So. Luncheon being Kingdom, ooh, and nice save there from Akra to not fall in. So one of those kingdoms that can definitely cost you a lot of time. A missed-time jump can definitely mean death in Luncheon. As you see that there's this pink stuff all around that not necessarily instant kills you, but will damage you. And some spots are kind of, if you fall in it, you can knock it out. So. Ooh, Julgane struggling a little bit here. The terrain here in Luncheon is a bunch of kind of sharp hills, so it can be kind of weird to move around on him. As we see there, he's planning to do a he thought he could just dive right on top of that, but possibly the angle he was taking was giving him a bonk. So
yeah, the geometry at this level definitely is deceivingly looks deceivingly easy to climb across these things, but it's really not. Julgane missing the swag strat here for that box. Would have been really, really nice to see that. I don't see many runners doing that, but he does end up getting the box, so it's not time loss, but it's just not as cool,
Yeah, definitely. And an unfortunate bonk there right before the box, but he is going to get the Kobe, so a little bit of a swag back there. And we're going to see some nice movement here from Akra. He's going to opt to go on top of the kind of hill, whatever this blue stuff is called. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, definitely closing the gap between the two runners with Julgane's slight mistakes, and then Okra's really, really good movement so far.
And we're going to see Julgane opt out of the fork room. He could go right to the right there and go into the fork room, which, not being any slower than Potavu, but, oh, and it looks like he may not have the height that he needs. He's going to have a quick reaction and see that he needs to go to the right. So just another nice reaction there from Julgane to kind of fix a mistake in a nice fashion and not waste too much time.
It'll be interesting to see if Okra goes for fork room. Like you said, doesn't really lose any time. I guess it's more personal preference.
Ooh, and getting sniped by that pan bro there. I've definitely had that happen to me. It seems like that guy's aim is just something else. Julgane getting trolled a little bit by the cheese here. One of the kind of harder moons to optimize because the order that the Panbro throws his pans is completely random, and we are going to see Akra go into forks. So it's one of the rooms that uses a lot of motion control, so we'll see how he handles it.
Yeah, that moon's very good at cheesing you. It's kind of unfortunate, but it just happens.
A very clean fork room so far from Akra. He's just got to dive on over to this last moon here, and then he's out. Ooh, kind of catching the wall there, but not a big deal at all. Making a nice clean jump on over. So we're going to see Julgane light this pillar here, grab a moon, and head on over to Podoboo. So. So the room that we see Julgane in now is the Podoboo room that we were talking about. While you're on this pink stuff, it is just like sliding around on ice, so it can be very unfriendly.
This jump that Julgane's about to do is really difficult. It looks really, really cool. It looks like he did end up getting it. Very clean room from Julgane.
Yeah, there is a strategy to opt out of taking damage there, but it can be very scary. And I do not blame him for opting out of it in every scenario. You have to jump to the moving platform there, which is not an easy feat by any means. So we're going to see him come over here and grab the one of the actually the last moon he needs before the multi-moon at the end of this kingdom. So. We're going to see the Akra doesn't need to go Podoboo room, so he's going to actually go over here, grab this moon, and then grab his last moon before the multi-moon. So a very close race from both these runners here. Anything could change this at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well put. Especially Mecha Brutal. Mecha Brutal can cause a lot of time loss, but it can also go really, really well and save a lot of time. It's one of those,
Definitely.
It's a double-edged sword, really.
Very nice triple jumps from Akra there to get right up over the wall there. So clean move from Akra may put him back in this race, but by no means is he out, but it's definitely closing the gap here. So we're going to see him grab his last multi-moon and head back on over to the Odyssey. So we're going to actually be coming up on Ruin Kingdom, which is probably the only boss fight that you can kind of do nothing to speed up. It is kind of like an auto-scroller where you can only damage the boss where it allows you. So really the most important thing is to just make sure that you're available to pull the pins out of its nose there as soon as the game lets you. And then you can go, that's about as fast as you can go. So.
Yes, not to mention the long cutscenes and mass amount of cutscenes before and after. A very, very dull part of the run, but very deceiving because you can also lose time, lose a lot of time here by just simple mistakes. So you really do have to keep in mind that.
Yeah, definitely any cycle missed here is a huge time loss, but we usually see all runners handle it pretty easily here. So Julgane just kind of throwing off some swag while he waits on the cycle there, staying high up in the air to run away from these circle hula hoops, as I like to call them.
Can't say I've heard them called that, but you know what? We're going to coin that term now, the hula hoops.
Yeah, because I want to see somebody try to dive right through the middle of them. You know, there is a circle there that looks like Mario could fit in. So one of these days, I'm going to see if you can dive through those hula hoops. So honestly, only one cycle difference here for both these runners. Akra starting his first cycle while Julgane, I do believe, is starting his second cycle. So very close race, to be honest with you. As you can see, both runners just want to be up on top of the Dragon's Nose as soon as it allows them. So.
Yeah, I got not much to say about this fight. You'll see like different runners go for damage lists and other strategies that just speed up, and not really speed up. It just makes it more available and less likely to miss a cycle.
Definitely a dull part of the run, but you can't really sleep on it because, like we said, there is a lot of time to be lost. So Akra needs to be careful here. He's only on 1 health. So these spinies that come out of the pins here, I almost don't want to talk about him. But he's going to actually play it a little bit safe and take it slightly slower to make sure that maybe he was a little bit afraid of taking damage there himself. So, or motion control is just trolling him slightly a little bit there. So again, a very short difference between both the runners here. Akra starting the cutscene while Julgane starting the next cutscene. So definitely going to come down to a clean Bowser's here. A big mistake from Julgane and a clean Bowser's from Akra here could definitely turn the tide.
Yeah, absolutely. Bowser Kingdom was one of those kingdoms where lots of mistakes can be made and lots of time can be lost. Especially Mecha Brutal. Mecha Brutal is, well, brutal.
Oh yeah, definitely. Any cycle missed on Mecha Brutal here is going to either make the gap larger or completely close it. So, and Bowser's being one of those kingdoms that we've seen kind of a large route change in recently, whether it be because we need to get every story moon in Bowser's +1. So Julgane grabbing the first Pokio here, but it looks like he is not going to go for the Pokio strat there. So he's going to get a moon later on. There is a moon right behind that wall that he scaled. So some players opt into that. He's going to do a long jump off the stairs there and get over there just fine. He's going to beat up this swamp, and some good movement there to kill that swamp. As Akra is just literally 1 moon behind here, so this is very exciting to see. We're gonna see if Akra goes into this strat here, and it looks like he is playing towards the left, and he is gonna go for this moon. So you can see him throw his hat in order to leave it there, and it should home back to the bird, and he does not get it. It looks like it was just not quite maybe the timing that he needed, so he's gonna have to grab the bird and climb back up. Not a big time loss by any means. So. Julgane's coming up here on the start section of the Bowser's Kingdom. We got to get 5 shards in order to get this moon to spawn, and it's another one of those places that we see a lot of runners take different paths. And Julgane's going to grab a bird here, and we're going to see how he goes about it. So yeah, he's going to grab that one, then jump over the wall to grab the second. Ooh, and just barely grabbing that ledge, giving me a slight heart attack. And then the other shard that we need is here in these blocks. So, and we should see him blow up these next set of blocks to get the very one of the other moons that he needs here in this kingdom. When we're going to see Akra probably opt out of that one, because he already grabbed the one behind the wall. So Akra is going to choose to not use a bird and get up on this building his own way. So like I said, just a million different route choices here in Bowser's Kingdom. So he's going to jump down and grab that shard in that order. So maybe slightly faster, I'm not sure, but definitely a very close race from both these runners here. Akra is going to actually grab the moon that Julgane just grabbed right now. So Akra closing that gap for sure.
Yeah, this could ultimately come down to quote-unquote 2D skip, though it's not really a skip, but I can't get the community to stop calling it a skip, so 2D skip.
You call it what you want, and we'll know what you mean. I agree, I call it shortcut, but...
Also, a missing moon skip for, I don't know, you can miss it 2 or 3 times. Even missing it once could make this gap non-existent.
I already see Julgane coming up on the topper here. Just like the And he gets it. Looking a little sketchy there, but not a problem for him. You do have to have a very... Oh, and it looks like he just missed the hat that he needed there. But if he saw right there, he did catch. So a very clean catch there from Jewel to kind of skip that cycle a little bit earlier. So definitely giving Akira a chance to catch up here. You do have to time your jumps very precisely in order to get the hat that you need there to make this boss fight go quickly. Ooh, and Akira jumping just a little bit too early before the hat was available. So now he's going to have to figure out which hat he needs. And it looks like he did see which one it is. So it is going to stop right there. So we'll see if he can get the next cycle skip. Oh, just missing it himself there. So as you can see, Topper is one of those fights that can definitely cost you a lot of time if you miss the cycle that you need. Now he has to find out which hat and just get some kind of unlucky hat placement there. He's gonna have to chase that hat down. Shouldn't make the gap too much different, but it is definitely gonna come down to and this may be decided by Mecha. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully Okra's Harriet goes pretty well, and then we'll have a really, really close race on our hands. Here going well so far. Really optimal strats on her first cycle, as well as her second, so this is really promising.
Yeah, definitely hitting those hats out of the air quickly is not an easy feat by any means. The angle that you have to quickly change to in order to hit it back at her is difficult. So we're going to see Akira finish that boss fight there. And Julgane's going to come up on the last bit of platforming we have to do here in Bowser's Kingdom. Every player kind of handling this their own way. It looks like he's going to actually do a long jump to skip one section there. So something I haven't seen in a while. So excellent movement there from Julgane. And then he's going to actually make a climb here with this bird doing motion control inputs to get those max height jumps. And Akira is going to be coming up just barely behind, about to make his gauntlet here. So again, this is a very close race. It's definitely exciting to watch. I do believe both runners being within 20 seconds of each other here, if that.
And as we keep mentioning, Mecha Brutal could really decide this race. It can make it either really, really hard for Okra to catch up, or really, really close.
And we're going to see Julgane opting to just say, I don't need that bird, and he's going to climb up here on the Mecha Brutal's legs, take an intentional bonk, and then he's going to ground pound and get up here in a very fast fashion. So excellent start from the fight here, but far from over. He's going to have to get back on top of this Mecha Brutal each phase here in order to do it quickly. Falling off at any stage now will lose him a lot of time. So let's not curse it here and see if we can get it.
Looks like he should be fine, yes.
Oh, Akira doing a different variation of movement there in order to skip the bird, but he's going to say, you know what, I missed it. I'm going to go for a bird now. So losing a little bit of time there, but far from over. And Julgane getting a nice hit on that yellow bunny. That one being, personally for me, the hardest one to hit. So clean from Julgane there. And one more hit and then he's done. And he's going to get it. So very clean, like a brutal fight from Julgane there. Really kind of making it hard on Akira, but Akira is far from out of this.
Yeah, Akira really close, actually getting a ledge grab there. Very close to falling off, but does it in the long run get it. So that's really nice to see.
Ooh, and it looks like the bunny ears of the Mecha Brutal just getting in his way there. Very unfortunate. One of the things that can be very hard to react to, almost impossible. So, he's going to have to wait on this cycle. Unfortunate cycles here from Mecha Brutal, not quite giving him the bird yet. There is no other way to get back on top of it other than with a bird in this phase, so you may be, I shouldn't say that, you may be able to do another birdless skip, but I imagine it would be extremely difficult in this phase. So he's going to just scale his way back up here, but getting a kind of misfortunate placement there with that. So he is going to have to wait. Kind of hard to react to the way that the Mecha Brutal spins, putting that platform right above him there, so trying to get the height that I'm moving. But he's going to get the second to last hit here, and hopefully he can get back on. Again, the ears almost getting in the way there. And here's one of the instances that can definitely troll a player right at the end, where you just need the very last one, but it's moving around, so making that ground pound very hard to get, almost like you're playing whack-a-mole. So there, he's gonna get it just fine. So Akra finishing up Mecha Brutal there. That not the kindest Mecha Brutal we've seen, but definitely getting trolled a little bit by those bunny ears, hurting Akra. But a mistake from Julgane here could put Akra back in it, whether we see him go for a 2D skip or a misfortune in Moon before. So definitely not over by any means.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was still a pretty solid Mecha Brutal despite all the mistakes. And I'm sure he's not very happy about it. And hopefully he'll be channeling that energy to want to do well rather than getting discouraged.
So Julgane going to be rolling across the moon here. One of the areas that I think is fun the very first time we play through it casually, but gets kind of dull after that. We just kind of want to get out of here as quickly as we can. So Julgane actually going to be coming up on Moonskip here. A rather precise jump that can, for new players, be a very hard thing to get consistent. So we'll see if he can get it first try here. And it looks like he is going to get it with a very good Moonskip there from Julgane.
Yeah, it's very, very clean. Almost looked like he wasn't going to get it at first. But
yeah, it looks like he was a little bit too far to the right, but quick reaction. I realized that he needs to slide down the wall a little bit. So Julgane really showing off quick reactions today. Julgane come up here on the last Bowser refight. He's going to have to close a lot of ground there. That hat is thrown very early on the first phase of this fight, so he just gets it with a nice long jump and gets to where he needs to be quickly.
Yeah, the second Bowser fight is much like the first one, except in this fight, he's going to go into the middle and spray this very ineffective beam of fire that seems to not even do anything. But
the hitbox looks a lot bigger than it actually is. You have to practically be standing on the ground to be hit by that fire. So Julgane gonna get a nice second phase here. We could have seen him go for the strats that we saw Akra go for. You could do the same thing in this fight, so we'll see if Akra will go for those in this fight as well. Get a little bit of time back over Julgane's strategy here. Akra coming up on his Moonskip here. We're going to see if he can get it first try. And it looks like he's got a good spot. He's going to get a first try. So you're pretty much in the clear as soon as you see the runner get the second wall slide there. So.
Yeah, very good Moonskips from both runners.
We're going to see Julgane go ahead and punch Bowser out for the last time, doing one more tail swipe there, and then he's off, skipping that cutscene early. And we're going to see Julgane be coming up on his escape sequence here, where we're going to actually become Bowser and escape, so game taking quite a twist there. Do you think we will see the 2D shortcut? Ozzy, will we see it?
You know, I think both runners are going to go for it. I really hope so.
Julgane getting a nice triple jump there, saving quite a few seconds over the casual route of running around. So we're going to see him come up on the 2D section here, which plagues a lot of players. So we'll see how it goes. Don't want to jinx anything. And it looks like he broke the block, so he's not going to go for it. Maybe unintentional. Always hard to tell right there. So, or he's just going to take the safe route. I do not blame him, knowing that he's got a lead here, and the nerves can be an issue for that jump being at the very end here. He knows he's ahead, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Though I still would like to see a 2D skip, so hopefully Okra can go for that. So at this point, Julgane has to have a really unfortunate death during the rest of this Bowser sequence to end up jeopardizing the race.
We'll see if he goes right side here. He is going to get a nice few shots on that pillar. Looks like he is going to get... So he is going to go right side, realizing... Oh, he's going to turn back, actually, breaking that pillar. So typically players do want to just leave one hit on that so that you can break it on your way to the middle. Saving a little bit of time and making the route a little bit safer. So he's just going to actually finish it up and go around that little pitfall there. Akra getting into his 2D section here in just a moment. So again, Julgane is ahead, and as long as he doesn't make a mistake here, we are good. And it looks like he gets on the platform just fine. So a super close race from both these runners here. Both of them being in the same kingdoms at the same time for pretty much the whole run. So exciting watch, an exciting race to watch for sure.
Okra also opting out his 2D skip. Unfortunately, I didn't want to see a 2D skip, but still really, really entertaining run from both racers. Very fun to watch, very fun to commentate.
Yes, definitely. We'll see. See if both these players have a moment to speak. Yeah, it looks like neither player here is going to PB, but Julgane is going to take the race here today, so congratulations to Julgane for sure. Somebody says, what is the best time any racer has ever gotten on a turn so far? I do believe that belongs to Samurai Man with a very low 107 or high 106. I do forget. Akra finishing up his escape sequence here, breaking the very last block in order to jump onto the pillar and head out. But it looked, I haven't heard back from Julgane yet. We'll see if Akra has anything he wants to mention. So hang tight real quick, guys. Alright, looks like Akra did get back to me here, so. Hey, what's going on, Akra?
Oh, man.
So, first off, one thing I always like to know, did you have any gold splits in that run?
I did have 2 gold splits, yeah.
Okay, which kingdoms?
Cloud and Luncheon.
Awesome. Oh, Cloud. You did go for the new Bowser strats there. So was that the first time you'd done that? Like
that was actually the first time. That was the first time I'd ever gone for it. I was practicing before the race. I was consistently getting the fast first and second cycles, but the third one I was like, I'm not gonna go for it. That's a little tough.
And it looked like you opted out of them there in the last Bowser sequence.
Yeah, I was just playing to survive at that point.
Yeah, just wanted to finish. Gotcha.
Yeah,
I don't blame you. So I haven't looked at the group stages for this yet, but whereabouts is this group? Is that the first run, last run, or?
So this is the second race that's happened in the group. There was one between Blazing James and I, and one between Julgane and I now, and no one else has raced.
Gotcha. So you are 1-0.
1-1.
Oh, 1-1. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, 1-1.
Yeah. Man, that was an interesting run. Like, I had a lot of good saves for things that, that could have gone wrong, but then it didn't. But then, like, the things that did go wrong were, like, disaster scenario. Like, oh, no, this is the worst thing that could have happened.
Yeah, some definitely unfortunate things. I do believe Lost Kingdom was the hardest on you. I think that's where.
Yeah, I got memed by that tree, and then like because I couldn't go like the regular way, or else I would have activated the cutscene. So I had to just take 2 intentional deaths on top of another unintentional death. That was rough.
Yeah, and then having to go back and get the moon. Sorry, excuse me, coughing a little bit. Breaking the cage there.
Yeah, because I'm sure you said, but like if I had landed on that platform before dropping down to the bridge, I would have activated the Hatsteel cutscene, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I have to die again.
Yeah, I that was a better option. And then of course, Mega Wiggler was not kind to you either. I felt for you on that one because it looked like maybe a dead segment maybe got in the way.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. It was one of those weird hitboxes, but yeah. But yeah, no, I mean that was a pretty tight race at the end there. I thought I had an inkling of hope right at the end, and then Mecha Wiggler just happened. No, it was a good race.
Just a few mistakes keeping you from really. Excuse me, coughing. A few mistakes just keeping you from kind of pulling that one back.
Yeah. Let the record show. I haven't updated my PB actually, so my PB is actually a 111.07. So yeah, I was playing
110 soon.
Yeah, 110's gonna happen soon. That was just that was a run.
Yeah, I feel you. Well, awesome race either way. It's always exciting.
Yeah, no, that was fun.
So close. So, thank you very much. Make sure you guys follow these runners, and definitely follow Uni-Ozzy. I believe he had some internet issues, so he had to peace out. But definitely fun casting with him. And thank you guys so much, and thank you to Speed Gaming for putting this on. Those dudes they're always ready to set up a race. So definitely shout outs to them.
All right.
If you guys want to know, let me look at the schedule real quick for everybody. And it looks like there is a race here in 10 minutes on this channel, guys. So definitely stick around.
Get hype.
Yeah, definitely get hype. That is J. Cool versus Valero. So don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to have another race for you. But that'll be it for me. Thank you guys so much.
Take it easy.
Thank you, Akra. Yep.
Yeah.